Hey there and welcome. It's Flatbread Friday. We're going to do something a little different today though, because I had some Roma tomatoes in my garden. I also had a bunch of basil that I turned into pesto. And in my freezer I had some puff pastry sheets. And today we're going to make Caprese pizza pinwheels out of the puff pastry and the pesto and the tomatoes and mozzarella cheese. And then we're going to bake it up in the oven, and it's going to be not a pizza, an appetizer, but based on a Caprese pizza. So let's get her done. Here are the Roma tomatoes from my garden, and they are washed and drained. Because I'm not a big fan of tomato seeds, I'm going to make these tomatoes diced. Cut them into quarters. Scoop out the seeds, cut out the seeds. Most of the seeds. These guys are pretty small. So, and then you slice them into strips this way. And then cut them into dice this way. And this is a good size for our pinwheels. And we're going to continue on with as many tomatoes as it's going to take to cover our puff pastry. And I got to use these tomatoes up because I got more coming. Our tomatoes are all diced up and ready to go. And now we're going to compose our pinwheels and bake them up and serve them up. We're going to lightly flour this cutting board. I need too light, but it'll work. And then we're going to open up our puff pastry and put it on there. Puff pastry is on. We're going to pinch the seams. We might have to use both sheets for the amount of filling that we have. But we're going to start with one. Make it nice and even. And I'm preheating the oven to 400 degrees. First thing that's going to go on is our lemony basil pesto. Yes, I added lemon juice to it. I'm going to spread that all over. That should be enough. Because it's made with oil, it could leak out all over the place, so we have to keep it pretty thin. We'll spread it around until it's perfectly, our pesto is on, and I've left a border in case we need to egg wash around to help seal it before we roll it up and cut them up. And the next thing that's going on is some mozzarella cheese. I really wanted to keep this traditional and use fresh mozzarella, but it's too melty, and that again, that might make a big mess of these things too. So shredded or sliced mozzarella, I think, would be a better choice. Our mozzarella is on, and I stayed within the border. And now it's time for our tomatoes, and because there's so many of them, we're going to make 2 of these because I have the other puff pastry sheet. So on goes our maters. We'll try to spread them out nice and evenly. Our tomatoes are on, nice and evenly distributed. I'll season them up with just a little bit of salt and pepper, a little sprinkle, just to blow the flavor up. And now we're going to beat an egg and make an egg wash. We're going to spread a nice little layer around the edge, all the way around. That'll help seal this edge up when we roll it up. Now, we're gonna make a pinwheel out of this. Well, we're gonna roll it up and then cut it into pinwheels. We might have to tuck in a little bit, tuck and roll, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. Shove those little escapees out. I'm gonna pinch these seams and pinch these ends in too. Get in there, you. Turn it over, seam side down, shape it up, get rid of some of this extra flour. And we're going to do the other one, and we're going to cut these into individual pinwheels. Our Caprese rolls are made. And now we're going to cut them into individual pinwheels, about this wide. And here's what they look like on the inside. We're going to place them on a baking sheet, flatten out. This one looks real good. Here it goes on the attack. Oop. Okay, we're going to continue on with the rest. I couldn't fit them all on one baking sheet, so I spread them out a little more and put them on two. I'm trying to round them up, and we're not doing too bad. And now we're gonna spread them with a little egg wash up the sides. And across the top. And we're gonna continue on until they're all done. And then they're going in the oven, probably 15 or 20 minutes. Here we have our Italian Caprese pinwheels all rolled up and ready to go in the oven, and let's cook them up. I think they're gonna be so yummy. Our Caprese pinwheels are out of the oven. Looking yummy, smelling yummy. Here's what they look like close up. They're probably gonna be a little messy, but we're gonna plate them up and taste them up. Here's what they look like close up, and they're cooked on the bottom. And they're gonna be good. Here are our Caprese pinwheels on a plate, and we're gonna taste them up. But before we do, we're gonna give them a little bit of drizzle of balsamic glaze. Add a little tang, add a little color. And here they are, ready to serve. They're going to be yummy, and it was fun to play with more ingredients from my garden. Thank you for joining me for this week's edition of Flatbread Friday. And even though these are not a flatbread, they are based on a flatbread. And here's what we look like. And we're ready to go in. Let's do it. Here's what our bite looks like. And as I suspected, they came out so yummy. And thank you again for joining me. We'll see you again soon.